Hey, what's going on, guys? It's John, and I want to tell you about my new Instagram TV series, Collecting Dust. Some of you may have heard of my fabled collection room, full of all sorts of useless crap. So now I've decided to take you behind that door. Each week I'm going to take a couple pieces of my collection, be it a toy, a piece of movie memorabilia, or even a Blu-ray, and I'll tell you the story of how it came to be in my possession. Tune in every Wednesday on Instagram at The Nothing Pod or on Facebook at The Nothing Podcast with Nobody Important.
You're listening to The Nothing Podcast with Nobody Important, where a group of nobodies speak to an actual somebody. And now your hosts, John and Frank.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm John.
I'm Frank.
And you're listening to The Nothing Podcast
With Nobody Important.
And here we are, Frank, episode 30.
God, we made it.
We made it. And then we'll make it again.
The big 3-0.
10 episodes from now. Right, yes, the big 3-0. This is, I guess, our pseudo-season finale. It's hard to say season, what's a season, what's not a season. But, we thought it was really important. Last week, we had a really big name, important guest. And we thought, maybe that should be the season finale. Our show's about everyday people who you wouldn't think to ask about. So this week we have a true blue nobody. I say it in the episode, but maybe one of the most important nobodies we've had so far.
It's literally somebody you see every single day. And you said, it's funny, he's true blue. He is true blue. He's blue collar and he wears a blue uniform.
And blue shorts. It's John Salvio, who is a New York City bus driver.
So good. He demystified a lot of the process about how to become a bus driver. And we basically picked his brain and asked every single possible bus question we could think of in an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, usually we have like an arc or a story that we tell, and we try to start at the beginning and hit the middle, hit the end. For this one, man, we just asked whatever questions we had in whatever order we had them.
Man, this guy is Brooklyn born and bred. He oozes Brooklyn. Just the sound of his voice, the way he looks, he is a bus driver.
Oh, absolutely. He is. When you were to draw a picture of a bus driver, you're drawing John Salvio.
It's John Salvio. And we also asked him the important question. What happens if someone stands in front of the white line?
Oh, the answer may surprise you.
It might.
All right, so push your way in when there's obviously no room.
Hide behind the guy with the backpack so you don't have to swipe your Metro card.
Shout back door as loud as you can.
And don't know when to push the tape because, hey, I don't know the bus route.
And please welcome this week's guest.
Hi, I'm John Salvio, and I'm a New York City bus operator.
All right, guys, here we go. So, John, it's amazing that we have another John with us. So this is totally going to get confusing.
Yes, and we're on Zoom, so we'll never know which one you're talking to because you could be looking at both of us at the same time.
Zero eye contact. So we're here. I believe he bills himself as the bus operator, which gives me a lot more questions than I thought I'd have for a bus driver because I don't know if a bus driver is like insensitive. But welcome to John Salvio.
Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, John, quick, right off the top, I know you're a professional bus driver. I've done my research into the type of vehicle you operate, and I'm going to ask you some very specific questions right off the bat. Okay, John?
Sure, go right ahead.
This game is called Stump the Expert. Danielle, get 60 seconds on the clock. And, John, here we go. What do these bus things do? 1, the wheels on the bus.
Go round and round.
Nice. The wipers on the bus.
Go swish, swish, swish.
Horn on the bus.
Beep, beep, beep.
Doors on the bus.
Open and shut.
Ooh.
The gas on the bus, John.
The gas.
Vroom, vroom, vroom.
The gas goes glug, glug, glug. It's okay. We'll give it to you. What about the money on the bus? The money. Before Metro cards, the money?
I don't have any.
Clink, clink, clink.
That's right. Almost done here. The baby on the bus. Classic move for babies.
Wah, wah, wah.
Nice. I like your interpretation. How about the people on the bus? They're very insensitive, these people.
Oh, I don't know.
Wow. The people on back door, back door.
No, they say shush, shush, shush. And finally, John, here's your last one, your bonus one. This is for all the points. What does the fare evader on the bus say?
Yo, can I get a rod?
Got it. He nailed it. Good. He is a real bus driver. He's a real driver.
Just in time.
Wow.
The people on the bus go Dumb Blasio. So, John, you are a true example of what we were aiming for with this show. And I say that a lot to people who it doesn't really apply to.
Mm-hmm.
You're somebody it really applies to. When we talked about the show at the beginning, we were like, sanitation, bus driver, deli guy.
Yep.
You're one of those three things.
Yes.
And I'm sure you visited a deli or two in your time.
Yeah.
And you definitely throw out garbage.
You're all of them. I got to ask you right off the bat, do you have a problem with subway guys?
Subway? Oh, with as in people who take the subway? No, if
People who drive the subway. Is
you know, I would rather drive a bus than a subway car any day of the week. I mean, hats off to those subway conductors. They have to drive in the dark and know how to, switch the
Yeah,
tracks.
well, they're not really driving in the dark, though.
Everything is like a switch here and a switch there, but just the fact that sometimes they go in the dark, and I'm sure their cabin is well lit and everything, but at least the bus, I know I'm kind of controlling it in a way.
Okay.
But I do have a lot of respect for those train conductors that work down there. They go through a whole lot of training and nothing but respect for them.
So not like the rivalry that sometimes is between police and firemen. There's no rivalry.
Maybe not as severe, but there's a little joking here and there between subway people and but I don't think not like police officers or firefighters.
A little bit of ribbing.
Yeah.
A little bit of ribbing that happens.
So there's no really old bus driver with one eye and a scar down his cheek who looks at the subway guy and he's like, "How's your track, you bitch?"
No, nothing like that.
Okay, I'm good. I didn't think so. I was just checking. How long you been a bus driver?
This November will be 11 years. That's including the time I was laid off in 2010 when they did all those cuts to certain bus lines. So this November will be 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I this is kind of this is a very people in your neighborhood type episode, which is something that we all take the bus. Mm-hmm. I mean, I haven't, to be completely fair. I don't think I've taken the bus in 15 years, but people take the bus.
Yes.
I used to take the bus to school all the time, but like I haven't taken the bus in forever. So I have a lot of questions about how my old friend the bus is doing.
That's what I'm here for.
But how does one become a bus driver? Take us back to the beginning, where the decision came from, and then what the learning preparation went into. You don't need to go into too many details because I know there's some trade secrets and things like that.
Well, obviously, when the whole acting thing didn't work out, and then I woke up from that dream, my father actually saw an application in the Daily News for bus operator. He sent this in. I sent my information, and then they tell you to come down to Livingston Street in downtown Brooklyn. You take a little bit of a survey, I guess, to see if you have the personality for this type of job. Went down.
Wait, stop. What are the questions on the survey? I have to know.
Well,
I have to know.
Well,
how much does 225 mean to you?
No, it wasn't even like it was more like those surveys. Like, if someone comes into my job and is, or if someone's caught stealing at your job, would you tell your supervisor? Do you agree, strongly agree, neutral, like that, like all those types of questions?
Uh-huh.
It wasn't like Williamsburg is 20 miles away and Bed-Stuy is 15 miles, and the beef and this bus. Where do they meet up at L&B Spumoni Gardens? It wasn't like that.
It's looking for your character.
Basically, yes.
Okay. And did you bring a headshot to this or no?
No, I didn't bring a headshot and resume or anything like that. I didn't bring sheet music or slides or anything like that. I just went in and took
under special skills, did you write loves buses?
Loves, but or like unlike Ed Norton, I did know how to speak French. So
there you go.
Okay. It was a matter of time.
He did have to sing 16 bars of Wheels on the Bus.
Yes.
So just to get in.
So then what, I guess, right?
Yeah, right. What's next? So you go in, you take the survey.
Okay.
And then you had decided that this was something that you thought, obviously, like you said, you wanted to be an actor or whatever, but something in you said, I could do this.
Well, I guess you think...
And I mean, I think 11 years in it has proved that you can do this.
Yes, it's like I say a lot of to the student bus operators who I get sometimes. I say it's, maybe not the best job in the world, but from what I've heard from other bus operators, you could raise a family on it. You could send your kids to college. You could buy a home. It certainly helped me in that regard. But just to get back to what you the process, if that's what you want to do, went down, passed the test. They did a pre-employment drug test, passed that, obviously. And they say, here, go. You're going to go to our training school in the Bronx. It's for a week. You'll learn the ins and outs of the bus, everything from the parts to learning how to drive. I passed that. And then after that, they sent us to depots. We learned lines and we were able to pick in someplace, and the rest is history.
Yeah, you're forgetting a part, though. When did you drive the bus?
Right after we got sent to the training school in the Bronx, we all got sent to different depots all over the 5 boroughs, and that's where we learned how to drive the bus. It was about 4 or 5 probies, or rookie bus operators, as we called them. We were assigned to a assistant superintendent or general manager, and they just taught us the ins and outs of the bus. To start it and they taught us how to drive the bus, basically, essentially.
Right.
So as soon as you get right to the schoolroom, you're sent right to a depot and you learn how to drive a bus.
You didn't have to take a road test beforehand to prove you were capable driver?
After the training, I actually took a road test in the bus, which I passed on the first try. Some people don't. It still amazes me how I passed the road test in a 40-foot bus with blind spots on the first try, and it took me 4 times to get my regular driver's license.
Oh, right, yeah.
You were made for bigger things, Salvio.
Yes.
That's why.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
So, what did you think the first time you sat behind the wheel? Like, did you think, oh my God, I'm driving a bus?
Yeah, that was definitely it. And just like driving a regular car, I was wondering, how the hell do you turn this big thing? And getting back to what you said, the difference between a bus driver and a bus operator, you have to operate the bus in a certain way, because you have the wheels, which are the front wheels of the bus, are behind me in a way, and they give you reference points like where to start your turn and how to turn the wheel a certain way. And once you do that a few times, it becomes second nature.
Wow. So interesting.
Yeah.
You see
and we know, John, the wheels on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and we know what they do.
We know.
Yes.
Don't say it.
But I was, just to kind of tie back to what you were saying there, Frank, the difference between a driver and an operator. I was, for a short time, an elevator operator, but I was referred to as an elevator driver, which doesn't really make sense because you're going up or down.
Yes.
What?
And I wasn't even using the crank to drive it. Like, I was just pushing the buttons. And the question always came to me, why can't they just manually why can't they just let the buttons be pressed on their own? And like, why do I have to open and close the doors manually?
Yes.
And the answer was, I don't know. So there is definitely a difference between operator and driver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think, given if I was to give you a test right now, you could operate a school bus?
I think I could, but I would probably have to drive it for a little bit, because the front wheels on a school bus are in front, and it would be equivalent to almost like driving a car. So I think I'd probably be a little nervous at first, given the fact that I don't have experience driving a long school bus. But a couple of minutes behind, I think I'd be comfortable with it.
That's probably the stupidest question I've ever asked on this whole show.
Hard-hitting news.
But it made me learn that
that's good.
That the wheels are in a different
wheels
place.
are different places.
Yeah,
I never registered.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never registered that the wheels on a city bus are behind you.
Yeah, they're a little bit back further. Yes.
Have you ever driven one of those that has the little slinky dog thing in the middle that's like 2 long buses?
Those are called articulated buses. And yes, I have. When I drove in the Bronx before I was able to pick into Brooklyn, I drove that kind of bus for about 4 or 5 months, but it's a very fun bus to drive, believe it or not. It
looks terrifying.
It's just like driving the regular 40-foot bus, because the back part literally just follows the front.
Huh.
And they say
once
once
you
you
swinging behind, it would just be.
Well,
like fishtailing everywhere.
Yep.
Well, in the bad weather, that's one thing you have to worry about. They say always check your mirrors, make sure the back end isn't fishtailing, and that you just sideswipe 3 cars.
Right.
The first time I saw one of those buses with the little foldy thing in the middle, I said, "This is insane. I don't know how much money the city's saving or what the point is, but this is like Frankenstein, like the most amount of hubris I've ever seen in a vehicle. Like, how dare you have an 80-foot bus? That is absurd to me."
Yeah.
Joking around, I say I can't wait till they have articulated express buses. Imagine an express bus back to back like that. That'd be something.
What a dream.
Yes.
So let me ask you, and as much as you can talk about, we live in New York City. We don't make any bones about that. And the way that transit it's obviously changed now, which we can get into, but it's always been that the trains, right? They say the trains never stop.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing stops the trains. They're going to go regardless. Are buses the same way?
No.
Or like buses kind of push through, or certain things will stop it?
If the trains go down, like it could be a nice sunny Tuesday morning after you get the AM rush of school kids and work people going to the train, the D train or the N train can go down, and you'll get a whole slew of people that have to get where they have to go, and they'll be like, "Oh, do you go to so and so, or like do you go to 36th Street? You go to 59th Street, or whatever the case may be." But the buses are always running. Now, let's take for example, at midnight tonight, subways aren't going to be functioning from 1 till 5 in the morning. There's going to be extra buses out there to move all these essential workers around that need subway service. So no matter what, the buses will always be running. I mean, in the wintertime, they may not have as many buses, but it's got to be pretty catastrophic, I think, events in order for the buses not to be running. But the buses will be out there more or less than the trains.
Yeah. Wow, that's so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's funny. I gotta be totally transparent with you. When I was taking the bus to college back and forth, I never had a problem with the bus itself, but the time it took standing there waiting for the bus would just kill me. I used to take the B6, okay, and so on Bay Parkway, and I would stand on lines waiting for the bus.
Yes.
And the bus would come, the bus would fill up, and the line, I'd still be on line. Sometimes 3 buses in a row, the lines.
Well, John, you're in luck because the B6 actually comes out of the depot that I work at. And I've driven the B6 quite a lot. And going down, the B6 starts by where my depot is on 25th and Harway, Cropsey Avenue, whatever you want to call it.
Sure, yeah,
and
I know.
You're picking up all Brooklyn College, all Midwood kids, and you could be packed to the gills by the time maybe you leave 75th Street and Bay Parkway.
Yep.
And, there's only so many people you could fit, and, you got to pass stops, and, you even with a packed bus, it still amazes me how I understand this is the city that never sleeps. We have to get where we have to go because it's important. We have to get to Starbucks to soak up the Wi-Fi and get our lattes and whatnot. But sometimes but you just wish people, if they see a crowded bus, they would exercise more common sense. Oh, it's crowded. Maybe I shouldn't get on. But yes, the B6 is very, very a heavy line, but a good line. You have a lot of buses out there, so you get a lot of help out there. So I understand what you're saying about the 6.
They did used to come like sometimes 3 at a time in the morning,
especially at rush hour time because you have so many people out there. Yes,
but because I was not traumatized, but so put off by taking the bus after having to for so long. I didn't get my driver's license until I was 23, so I was on the bus a lot.
Yeah.
By the time I got my license, and I still say this to Danielle all the time, if I drive by and it's late at night or even if it's the middle of the day or whatever, and there's one lone person standing at a bus stop, I always have that gut reaction that I want to just pull over and be like, where are you going?
Pick them up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I always wished somebody would do that to me. I always wished I'd be standing there and somebody would pull over and be like, hey, where you headed? Maybe I'm going in that direction.
Yeah.
The problem is I would have gotten in the car. Yeah, but I
John,
wouldn't
you
do
should have
that
been a bus operator.
I probably shouldn't have gotten in that person's car.
You know, there's bus operators who actually, when they're driving their own private vehicles, they actually pull into bus stops. Like they could just be going to the store and they'll pull into a bus stop just because it's second nature. Yep.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So good. So here's the question I want to know. The white line on the bus.
Yes.
You cannot stand in front of the white line, right? So
Correct.
basically, is what you're saying is pack it in as much as you can back there, but do not step over the line. So I want to know how many people could really pack in back there, standing, sitting, like Jenga, Tetris. This is what I want to know.
I can't even give you a number, but you could probably fit a decent amount back. I don't even know, to tell you the truth, but
Do people not follow the white line rule?
you know, driving the B1 and going towards Kingsborough, you get the Brighton Beach Avenue, you get a whole lot of people in this stop before you get all Kingsborough kids. You know, there's only so many times you could tell people, like, step to the rear, step to the rear, step to the rear, behind the line,
Right.
behind the line. You know, me personally, I mean, I can't speak for every bus operator. I do drive with the people in front of the line. As long as I can see outside my right side mirror and I have a good view, I'll drive, and I'll drive safely and cautiously. But you know, there's some bus operators who won't move if there's people in front of the line. And to segue into that, when I was up at the training room, because we go back at least once every year for retraining or classes that they give us. The reason why we're told people can't be in front of that line is because that's technically what's called the crash zone. If a bus was to go, let's say, into a wall, the front of that bus will get smashed all the way in, and like everything will like pop off, like all the handrails. So that's why they don't want people to stand in front of that white line, on top of it being a federal law. I found that out when I was up at the training room in the Bronx a few months ago.
But John,
That's so interesting.
you're in front of the white line.
Technically, yes, you're right, Frank, but I think maybe
They're willing to sacrifice the driver.
I guess it's, you know, they're willing to sacrifice one instead of however many people are behind that line. I guess.
But you're also like enclosed, sort of, aren't you?
Yes, now they with all these with bus operator, I shouldn't say bus operator assaults, with transit worker assaults, they do have a partition for us, so we are in like a little doored off compartment.
Really? I never saw that.
Well, if you go to different states like Vegas, I know the whole thing is like doored off. Like you can't even reach, like, you know, if someone wanted to hit a bus operator, you can't even throw like a roundhouse around or anything. It's totally blocked off. There's no app. But yes, there are doors now on, I believe almost should be on every bus in New York City Transit. They have a partition with a door that we have to get into the driver's compartment.
Wow, I gotta take the bus.
Yeah, I haven't even taken the bus in, I don't know,
That's
10
so
years,
cool.
but I just knew about that.
That's really interesting.
Does it lock? Like, do you lock it, John?
Well, it has like a handle that you could. It's like one of these doors. If you slam it, it'll shut by itself. And obviously, you could, you know, get in and out of the door, in and out of the driver's compartment safely. But it does lock by itself. You just gotta, you know, slam it hard enough for it to shut.
Huh. That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I have a couple of things that have always bugged me.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I go back to when I was riding the bus a lot.
Yes.
It used to drive me crazy, and I'm sure it drives you crazy because you referenced it already. Oh, those people who would just stand at the back and go, back door, back door. That used to drive me up a wall.
Yep, used to do it when I was taking the bus to Zavarian. It is annoying, but you know that's why you try to, you know, when you come to a stop, you open the front and rear doors simultaneously. So, and hopefully people are paying attention, because some people are just looking at the back door like, oh, look, a green light, but they're not looking at the sticker that's on the door, wait for the green light and then push the door open. So,
No, and they just yell back door.
Exactly.
They don't say, it's like those kids in school who used to yell, spill. just shout spill when something happened. Like, okay, do something else.
John, when you get assigned a bus, I guess you get assigned different buses every day?
Yes, we go to the yard dispatch and they assign us a bus.
Are you always
available.
Do you get like bummed out or get extra excited depending on the ad on the side of the bus? So you're like, oh shit, I got to drive around the news anchors versus I get to drive around the Scores bus.
Well, it was fun when they had when they had the Museum of Sex ads on the bus that I remember caused a little bit of controversy if I remember correctly. That's fun. Or with the I remember when there was they were advertising the new season of Ballers with the Rock, and I remember taking a selfie with it or whatever because I'm such a Rock fan.
Yeah.
And so that was fun. And but no, I'm not particularly picky when it comes to I want this bus or that bus. I just go, and I'm pretty friendly with the dispatchers, so they know me. I go, I get my bus, I leave. I don't really complain. Oh, I want this bus. I just take my bus and go.
Right. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh no, I just want to know: is that the same for your routes? So you have like different routes every day too?
Well, what I pick, there are bus op. We pick four times a year, which I think it has to do with the schooling, I guess, when they're on vacation or when they're not in session or anything. But to get to your question, I'm on what's called the extra list. Every day I do something different, so I don't know what I'm doing until the next day. Whereas if you pick something, you know what you're doing, and you have the same thing every day, same days off every week. But I'm on the extra list, and I do something different every day.
Fun.
But how do you learn the route so quickly?
Well, in my depot, there's only a
driving off in different directions.
Six.
Everyone just screaming and leaning to the left.
Well, when I first picked into the depot, obviously I rode whatever lines were in the depot for a few days, and I wrote down the turns on like a notepad or index cards or what have you. And obviously, when you're out there, you're looking at the cards or the paper wherever you have the turns on, and then like anything, it just becomes second nature. And thankfully, there's only like 6 to 8 bus lines in my depot, including 4 express lines, but most of them are the same route anyway. One just stays local, and the other ones get on the FDR.
I'll tell you, I never even considered the fact that the driver has to know the route. I never even thought about it. I'm like, what would you do if you got on a bus and they just had the GPS going? I'd be like, okay, this guy does not know where he's going.
Wow.
I mean, I wouldn't even know. Like, I just suddenly somebody turns down a side street. Like, I don't think this bus is going where we need it to go.
No, the only time that would have is like if God forbid I missed a turn. I mean, I think I was deadheading. When I say deadheading, I mean just going with an empty bus to go start my route. I was supposed to get off and exit. I ended up going to the next and just looping around and being a few minutes behind or whatnot. But I mean, it happens. I mean, if you make the wrong turn, there'll be someone in the back going, bus driver, you made the wrong turn, or you're on
definitely. They know that
you're
route.
on the road. Yep. The passengers sometimes, especially the express bus riders, they know the route better than you do. And they can tell when you're either new to the route or you're a new driver. I don't know what it is, but the people know.
Excellent. John, what's something about a bus we wouldn't know as regular people? Like a feature on a bus that, it does that? Like, what don't we know? I'm amazed when the bus tilts for, like, wheelchair access.
Well, yes, we can.
Amazing.
We can kneel the bus in the front, obviously, for the elderly people and senior citizens who can't really, step up on a regular heighted bus. There's that. We have a wheelchair lift on the express bus. I don't know if you know that, but it takes a little bit more time to operate that one than on a regular bus. Well, now we have buses that make the bus stop announcements for us. So if you're lucky enough to have that, you don't really have to worry about saying your announcements. But I'm sure if you have...
What if you're shy?
But that the only thing is, if obviously we get rides every once in a while from superintendents to make sure we're doing what the schoolroom taught us, and I'm sure they would want us to make the bus stop announcements. But those are great.
How does it know when to go off? Are you hitting the button as the driver?
What, to make the announcements?
Yeah.
Well, everything's
How does
it's got GPS, and then you can actually see, like, they now have a screen like almost near the rear of the bus with the bus route, like where it's going and everything. So I guess it senses, and it'll just make the announcement. The only annoying thing is that it makes every announcement.
We're living in the future.
It makes every announcement where, like, I don't think 50 million people are going to get off on West 9th and Bay Parkway. They'll get off, make the announcement at 75th and Bay Parkway, where the B4 is, and things like that. But it is nice to have these buses that make the announcements for you.
Wow, this has come so far since the last. I'm
Yes.
telling you, I got to take the bus. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get excited when you get a fancy bus?
It's nice. It's just, it's the newer equipment. It smells a little bit better, and the steering wheel feels a little bit different.
Do you have a bus voice? Do you have a voice that you do for the?
I actually do the movie trailer guy's voice when I make my announcements. I'm like, in a world,
Really?
this is Bay Parkway, 75th Street.
That's the best.
Do you really do that?
No, I don't. I
You
just
should. Oh, you should. Who's
All
going
right,
to say otherwise? Nobody
so
knows
let-
what your real voice is.
Tell us how you do it. Do it like we're on the bus. We're ready.
how I make my announcements on the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah. But say everything. Like, let's go from the door opens, and we have to say something. And I say this: how do you work the Metro card, sir?
Well, they don't want us to touch the Metro card. So I'm like, I try to get them make the yellow part of the Metro card face you and put the letter M in first.
Yes.
Perfect.
I like that.
Very
That's
nice.
Yeah.
good.
Okay, now I sit down, and now I say to you, is this a train?
No, sir. No, sir. This is a bus. Where are you trying to
What's
go?
his answer? That's not even a specific Salvio answer. That's a human answer. No.
Oh, what are you? Is this a train? No, Stunad. It's a friggin' it's a horse and buggy.
All right, now make the announcements. We're ready. And
Well,
the kids are loud in the back. So make an announcement. The kids are loud in the back.
Oh well, just some people say the street, and they'll say like, "Oh, transfer here to the B this and the B whatever." I just usually say, I'm like, Bay Parkway, 20th Avenue, 18th Avenue, 4th
You
Avenue.
keep the accent
Last
on.
stop.
You keep
Yeah.
the accent on.
Like we'll pull into the last stop. I'm like, last stop, or sometimes when I'm on the
We
B,
had to do it in your bed.
when we get to the last stop on the B1 is 87th and 4th, and that's where you catch the Staten Island bus. That's the only place where you could catch anything to get onto Staten Island. So I'll be like, 4th Avenue, 87th Street, that's 79, 53 to Staten, Italy. I'll say Staten, Italy instead of, Staten Island.
That's
sometimes.
Oh, that must slay them.
But I
Yeah.
have to say, if I was on the bus and I was a kid, I would turn to my friend. If you said it just like that, and I'd be like, "Wow, this driver is just like kind of throwing it out there. Like, here it is. There you go. Okay." I'm like, wow.
So wait, there's
he's over
this
it.
one bus line that goes into Staten Island. Is that where they put like the drivers who like did something wrong? They're like, poor
Over the
Gus
bridge.
is on the Staten Island line this week.
I don't know. I don't really know a whole lot about Staten Island. It's a whole different union all together, which is actually, it's,
Why?
I don't know. With transit, there's so many that you have all bus operators, whether you drive in Brooklyn, Staten Island, or Manhattan. We all go to the same school. We all drive the same 40-foot bus, 60-something bus, and there's three different
Queens is
unions
out.
all within the same entity.
John,
Queens isn't a part of that either?
Queens is a different union. My union is TWU Local 100. In Queens, it's ATU, which is Amalgamated Transit Union. I don't know what their local is, but it's they have a few different. So I could never drive in Queens or Staten Island.
That's okay. Danielle can't drive in Brooklyn.
I can drive it.
John, when you guys are like all hanging out at like the depot, what's like something like a bus driver would brag about? Like what's something you're like, I did this on the bus, and everything,
yeah,
like to show off.
Like, yeah, so I pull up to Lincoln, and I had 15 kids that all tried to sneak through the back door. I threw them little bastards off. They tried to get up on me, but I showed them who was boss.
Yeah.
I had a woman with a wheelchair with her attendant. The attendant tried to get on the ramp. I told her, no, wait till I load the wheelchair, then you get on the bus.
Oh, that's interesting. See, I would, yeah. I have a question about the wheelchair access.
Yes.
So you used to live in Brooklyn, yeah? Or you've always lived in Staten Island?
No, I've only
giving you
lived
away
in
where you
Staten
live
Island.
now.
I've only lived in Staten Island for 2 years, so I've been in Brooklyn
So you know the
for
right.
most of my life.
So you went to Zavarian, and Frank, maybe you know
Yes.
also. There used to be a woman who would ride around in the Bensonhurst Dyker Heights area backwards in her wheelchair, and she'd scoot her feet around, and she had bags all over her
Yes,
chair.
and supposedly she wasn't even wheelchair. She didn't even need the wheelchair or something like that.
She used her feet. She used her feet to scoot herself around. But that doesn't, But the wheelchair access takes a bit of time.
Yes.
And I was on a bus once where the bus driver refused to lower the thing for her, and I happened to be sitting near him.
He didn't want to kneel the bus, is what you're saying.
Yep, and I was sitting, and he didn't do it, and then we drove off, and I was sitting right near him, and somebody asked him why, and he said, because I know that woman, and I know she doesn't need that chair, and she's taking advantage of, she's eating up our time, taking advantage.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
That's a lawsuit on your hands.
It is. Although
yes, it is.
I do know that. I mean, we all knew that the woman was just, she wasn't. She was like, you don't want to have a conversation with her either.
Yeah,
she's crazy.
Yes.
But he refused to kneel the bus for her. He would not do it.
Well, John Salvio would never do that.
No,
I
usually
usually kneel the bus just because when we were in the schoolroom, they were kneel the bus before you even open the door. So I usually most of the time I kneel the bus, as I'm about to open the doors.
Anyway.
Right. Well, no, but I mean, it takes time. But
yes,
not that much time that you're not going to pick
it's
up
not
the woman in a wheelchair.
Well, it depends on the person. Also, you have some people who are not a problem. You have some customers who need both of the wheelchair seats that lift up, like to scoot around the whatnot. It depends on the person. But with any person who is is disabled, you just got to have a little patience and compassion.
That would be the theory,
and you just got to just treat them like any other person.
Yeah, that guy was the worst.
Yeah.
Hey, John, what are like some crazy things that have happened on your bus with people?
Oh, one.
You must have like a ton.
It's funny you said that because I was kind of prepping for that question like earlier, just thinking of stories that I possibly might be asked about. This was when I first came on the job. My first depot was the Amsterdam depot, which is up in Harlem on 120 something street in Amsterdam Avenue. It's used for storage right now. I was driving down Lenox Avenue. I pulled into the stop on 135th Street, and I'll never forget this woman's name. Her name was Mary Wiley. And you can't forget Mary Wiley. It sounds like they both rhyme almost. Her Metro card got stuck. Like it, and me not knowing it, like I'm trying to, fiddle with this button, that button, or whatnot. So anyway, long story short, I had to call the dispatcher, which is the guy you see sometimes standing on the corner with the white shirts booking buses. He came. He ended up getting the card out, but there was, I think cops might have came, an ambulance may have showed up. It was basically over a Metro card this happened, but it was just that was one crazy story.
Why did they all? Why was everyone overreacting? How did you call this in?
Oh well, because we have a bus radio. We have a phone that's right by the driver's compartment that we push a button and it connects to the bus command center. And obviously, like let's say if there's someone faints or anything like that on your bus, which actually did happen to me. They have the proper channels to call police, fire, EMS, things like that.
Mary Wiley. We're going to get her on the show next. Mary Wiley.
Here she is now, John.
Please
pop her
in. Mary Wiley here on the Zoom chat.
Did you ever get my Metro card back?
Yes, Mary. After I called my supervisor. Oh, yeah.
Do people try to pay in cash? That's what I want to know.
Tourists sometimes, like if they're on if I do the express bus, they'll come on with cash. I'm like, I wish I could, but I can't. But anyway.
Pocket it.
Yeah, they'll come on with cash, and I'll tell them, you got to get a Metro card. You can either go to the store or the subway station or anything like that. And some people get on the local bus and try to pay with cash, but I don't even know how long ago they stopped that. So I'm like, oh, coins or a Metro card. That's it.
Oh, coins is still a thing.
Yes. Not on the express bus anymore. Now on the Staten Island Express bus, they have what's called the Omni system, which means Omni One Metro New York, where you could take your bank card or your credit card and you just literally tap it on a screen and it'll deduct the fare from your credit card.
Oh.
Eventually,
wow.
I think it's going to be coming to Brooklyn. I don't know, but that's what they do on the Staten Island Express buses. So,
Queens has some weird ticket thing that's like on top of getting a Metro card.
Really?
They need to get, yeah, it's so strange. They like installed it in where they installed all the bus lanes and ruined Queens.
Oh,
by
wow.
my house.
I didn't even know that. But yes, no more
weird.
coins on the Brooklyn Express buses, only Metro cards.
John, how do you control your road rage while driving a bus?
Yeah, I have so many, by the way, so many
my
like
God.
one-off questions.
You know,
like
One-offs that I need to know.
It really is unbelievable. Just my personality. I hate running late. I know with transit they tell you, don't be a speed demon. You get paid. We get paid by the minute here. Take your time. Don't let the friggin' schedule work. I don't know.
Wow, Matt Hunt should hear that. Matt Hunt would lose his mind.
I woo-saw every once in a while. Maybe I sing to myself. I mean, can you imagine driving a bus at 50 miles an hour underneath 86th Street where the train is? That's just an accident waiting to happen. But, I just got to take a step back and, try not to, get like that.
Are you bothered when people are parked in the bus stop?
It depends where they're parked literally right on the corner. I'm like, dude, just pull all the way up into the bus stop.
Oh, my God.
Or if they're like right dead smack in the middle of the bus stop, like I'll just double park and block them in for the 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever I'm there. That's one thing I like. And I feel like it should have been parked in the bus stop.
Right.
So that doesn't really bother me too much. I mean, I wish they didn't do it, but this is New York. We do what we want, and that's it.
Yeah.
See, in my mind, if you're parked in the bus stop, I always think the bus driver is going to pull up behind you and they could take a picture of your car.
They actually can. On some buses now, they have the camera that's facing out of the front windshield, and there's a button that we press, and it'll flash a picture.
I wonder. I always think maybe if you're just there and there's room in front, the bus can just come and just smash your car out of the way.
Oh yeah, I wish they had like one of those big snowplow things in the front and just
I think
that would be genius.
Yep. I think about that on the train all the time. I take the D train, and if the B train is sitting there, and I'm like, oh man, I really wish my train was here. And like the doors close, and it takes a second for it to move. I have this daydream that the D train will just like come and poof, just smash the B train right out of the way and open the doors. I'm like, there it is.
I didn't even know the B train still exists. I thought it didn't even exist anymore.
I've got on the B train and had no idea where I was.
Do you remember what the B used to be before it was a B?
The W, I believe.
It was the Q Diamond.
That's right. Yes, yes, I believe so. Yeah,
yeah,
you're correct.
Much younger then. Much younger.
Yeah.
Why is it that I watch every single stop so carefully when I'm on the bus, like as if have no idea where I am and it's my first time on the planet? I sit on the bus and I've got my nose pressed up against the glass, like I'm so paranoid I'm gonna miss where I'm going.
I was terrified every time.
Oh, if it takes one wrong turn, you're suddenly like, ah!
Yeah.
I have no idea where you are.
There's people that stand up and they're just like looking out the window and everything. Like it's every stop. And like, excuse me, driver, is this how many stops till 20th Avenue? Oh, we got like 4 stops. You get to the first one. Oh, are we there yet? No, we got 3 more stops. Get to the next one. Oh, are we there yet? I just told you we're gonna be there in 4 stops. I'll let you know when we get there. Oh God.
But it's got to be nice to help out somebody who clearly doesn't know where they're going.
It does. I'm not gonna lie. It's obviously you gotta, the New Yorker in you has got to take a step back a little bit, but it does feel good to help people.
Of course, if you see a person who's polite and just asking because like maybe they're taking that route for the first time or they don't know where they are, or they say like, "Can you let me know when we're at like?"
I have no problem with that, especially when they're like, "Oh, can you let me know when we get to 18th Avenue and 86th Street?" Yeah, it's no problem. That's one of the announcements that's going to be made. So obviously, they're going to hear it, hopefully, and they'll get off the bus when they have to.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
I got a scenario for you. What do you do when kids on the bus are playing music way too loud?
Oh my God.
I'll tell them, in a pseudo nice way, can you mind turning that down? I can't concentrate, and hopefully they oblige.
All right. You ever have anybody get on the bus with an injury and they were going to the hospital?
Like a gun, like I had a gunshot victim on my bus, and I had
something good, not like a hangnail, John, like something good.
No, like I had a kid faint on my bus once. I think I picked him up from right by where Brooklyn College was, and he fainted, but somehow he arisen like Lazarus,
like the Lord,
and that was it.
He pulled the old Lazarus trick.
Yes, but I had called it in, and I had a supervisor come out to make a report. But thank God he awakened, and he was able to get off the bus. So
and he fainted because of your driving?
I don't think it was my.
I'm kidding, John. I'm kidding.
It might have been. I don't know if he had if it had to do with the weather or something like that. But someone came up to me and said, "Oh, someone fainted. Someone fainted." I'm just waiting for the for the gruesome when I have someone. Oh, there's a pregnant woman in the bed. She's going into labor, and I'm stuck in traffic on the Gowanus Expressway. That's what I'm waiting for.
Has anybody ever stopped you? Or came up behind you, which is the best way to talk to a bus driver, just to sneak up behind them, which is what I used to do. Quietly be like, "Hi, excuse me." Has anybody ever asked you to drop them off somewhere that's not a bus stop? Because I always used to think, if the bus goes 2 blocks, if the bus stop is 2 blocks past my house, you drive past my house. There's a part of me that always wanted to ask the driver, can you just let me off right here?
It's funny.
It's a red light.
It's funny that you asked it. I mean, I guess at certain points, if it's safe, they'll let you, I would do it. There's a thing called request a stop, which starts at 10 o'clock at night and goes till 5 a.m., I believe, where you can request a stop that isn't a bus stop. As long as the bus operator deems it safe, you can be let off there.
Oh wow! Really? How do you do it? You just ask the
you
bus
just
driver
ask them. You'll go up to them like a block, maybe a couple of stops before. I'm like, look, I want to get off, over here. Like, is that a problem? Like, no. As long as it's within that time and it's safe, he should let you off.
But he can't take you like an Uber to your house number. It's got to be on an avenue corner stop, right? I mean,
no, it's not like I can't turn off 86th Street on the B1, go down New Utrecht Avenue, and drop you off on 72nd Street.
Right. Right. That's what I'm thinking.
I got to get back on route now because I had to drop them off.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I always thought about that. I'm like, yeah, so there's my house.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I just be like, hey, you're at a red light, open the door?
Yeah. Hey, are there bus drivers who are women?
Yes. We actually have quite a few.
That seems like such a basic question, but
I
I also didn't know the answer.
Yes, there are women bus operators. Yeah. Cool. I'm actually pretty, friendly with them in my depot. But yeah,
cool.
they're
three. Name 3, John. Name 3.
Name 3.
There's Sonia, Anita, and Jeanette.
Good.
We have no way of knowing if you're lying.
Yeah. Okay.
What's that woman's name? Marie.
Yeah, Marie Kondo.
Yeah.
All right.
No, the woman who lost the Metro card.
Mary Wiley. Mary
Wiley.
No relation.
She's haunted you.
Yeah. No relation
Name
to
3.
Bob Wiley.
Right. Name 3. Mary Wiley.
Why does Mary? I wanted to say Riley, and it sounded like I had a lisp. Why does Mary Wiley sound to me like Lizzie Borden? And I think they both killed their families, and they're haunted.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, can we play our game?
Sure.
Let's do it.
I love games.
All right.
It's a rating
John,
game.
you want to lead this one?
No, because I don't have it pulled up.
Sounds great. Okay, John. So this is the rating game. We're going to ask you to rate things about buses, okay? This is not the wheels on the bus. You aced that one. So you can rate it however you want. Maybe you want to rate it in terms of how many Mary Wileys you give it.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. How many lost Metro cards?
How many lost Metro cards?
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Obviously, you'll be doing 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest.
Sure.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Whatever you want.
Okay.
After the first 3, the numbers are going to stop. We're just going to discuss our feelings on them. This is the way that the rating game goes.
This is a clever ruse for us to tie down separate ideas.
This is our 30th episode, guys. We've been doing the rating game for a long time now.
I think this is maybe the last season of the rating game, too.
I don't know. 30 episodes later, maybe.
We'll give the people what they want, and they definitely don't want this. Okay. John, do you want to do the first one or whatever?
Yeah, I'll give you the first
All
one. All right, so in 1 to 10 lost Metro cards, Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus.
Miss Frizzle from the...
She's a bus driver.
She
can shrink the bus down, take you inside the body.
Call me nuts. I never watched the Magic School Bus as a kid.
Well, she drove a bus, and the bus was alive. So that's got to give some Metro cards.
Yeah,
She had cool red hair.
She did have nice hair.
Give it an 8.
Give it an 8.
Okay,
Get
all right.
8, and that little lizard gets a 3.
Wow.
Okay, Frank?
John, I just want to say, when you drive your bus, if there are people who do know that show getting on, when they get on, you could say, "Step inside, it's a wild ride," because that's what they say.
But then they'll go, "Oh, I love that show," and he'll go, "Never seen it."
Never seen it. he goes, "What show?
What show is that?
Okay, listen, this is an easy one. I hate that it's even on the list, but we'd be remiss not to ask. Ralph Cramden.
10. There's no...
Okay.
There's...
He's your patron saint. Obviously.
He is... Yes, I actually have a picture of him in my locker.
Do you?
He's your spirit animal.
No, but but you do know that there is a statue of him outside the Port Authority in Manhattan.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know
know
what
that.
side of it, but there is... It's either outside or like maybe in the lobby as soon as you walk in, but there is a statue of Ralph Cramden in the Port Authority.
But he wasn't a real person or a real bus driver.
He is as my classmate and fellow bus operator Billy Fallon, may he rest in peace, said, Ralph Cramden, the only bus driver you never saw driving a bus.
Right.
Always had the uniform, but you never actually
Yep.
saw him driving a bus.
I actually have a honeymooner's lunchbox that has him leaning out the window of the bus.
with
I have
with
that.
Alice, Trixie, and
Yep.
Norton on the side.
Yep.
I actually
That's
did.
right.
I actually did a honeymooners dinner theater show a couple of years ago, and it was all the classic honeymooners episodes with all like modern day topics, and that was fun. So
It sounds
that's
great.
awesome.
It sounds like it wasn't any copyright infringements either. That sounds great, John. I'm sure everyone really appreciated that show that they didn't advertise anywhere.
Yeah.
John, here's a question for you.
Go
What do
ahead,
you think?
Frank.
This is not on the list. But when I think of Ralph Cramden and bus drivers, like if I had to draw a bus driver, I would start with the hat. Would you bring the hats back if you could?
I'm not really a hat person.
Yeah.
I wouldn't personally.
It's a great look. The hat and the short tie is a great look.
sure.
No. I do
Now
like.
what are you wearing?
I do like.
Shorts?
Yes, actually, our summer uniforms started on Friday, so we were allowed to wear shorts as of Friday up until October 14th.
The shorts is the best.
I
love
wear
the
short. I
shorts.
would wear shorts all year round if I
tell
could.
you,
But you can't.
It sounds like a dream job for me. It,
It
really
really
does.
does.
It really does. I mean, I love people.
I'll tell
I mean,
you,
it doesn't sound like an easy job.
there's
What?
a bus operator in
Right,
Manhattan.
yeah, 'cause I'm
who
not the best
sings.
driver?
They call him the
Yeah.
singing bus driver. I think he sings opera or he sings something. He's a driver.
I love that.
Out of Manhattan. If you obviously you got to be a people person to do this job, but if you really have thick skin and you don't let that fare box get to you it's just driving. That's it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like, where are you going to get paid? Well, we get paid an hour to do that. So it's not for everyone. I will
Oh, it
tell you
doesn't
that.
sound easy.
No, it isn't easy.
When
Yeah.
you after you're done with the shift and then you get back in your car, you're like, this little piece of shit.
No, I don't bring any of that home with me. I don't like if someone cursed me out or anything like that.
No. I mean, you do. No, do you think about? Do you think that to your car, like your own car is just as a little?
Does it
piece of
feel
shit
like
now?
a toy?
No, it's
Okay, good.
No. You're not making wide turns on your
No,
car.
I'm not making wide turns. I'm not like checking over my right shoulder that I'm clearing the sidewalk or anything like that.
You don't drive? Do you drive a Fiat just to balance everything out?
No, but I did have a Geo Tracker years ago, so that's as small a car as I ever drove.
Do you catch yourself just yelling out what street you're on sometimes when you're alone? That's so stupid.
Yeah.
Speaking of stupid, Frank, you could do the next one.
Okay, what do you think about this? Now, this is a stretch here.
Yes.
What do you think about Gary Busey, who has the word bus in his last name?
Gary Busey. You mean the Rocket from Rookie of the Year?
Yes.
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey. I think he's a couple of he's a couple of McNuggets short of a Happy Meal, but
Sure
Yes,
is.
100%. Sure.
he's maybe a guy I maybe would want to have a beer with, but I have no problem. I give him maybe 5 Metro cards.
If he got on your bus, would you let him just like skip the fare and just hop on?
Why not? Why not? People don't pay now. What's Gary Busey? Gary Busey's gonna make a difference?
It always feels like one of Gary Busey's eyes is trying to catch up with the other. Okay. So how about this? The cool kids who need to sit in the back of the bus on that long bench under the vent.
Yeah,
and they feel like they're so cool.
That's been going on since when I took the bus from Zavarian.
Sure, of course. You wanted to be up on that step. It was like a status thing.
Yes, it
you were
was
up on that back step.
Oh, you were the cool kids.
Yeah.
As long as they're not rowdy or doing anything like that, I got no problem with it. I'll give it 7.
Do you have to like kids? You must drive a lot of teenagers because that's who doesn't drive, right?
When they get on in the morning, they're nice and calm and they're listening to their headphones or whatever. But once 2:30, 3, it's like a jungle out there. They've had whatever sugar and whatever else injected into their veins, and it's a totally different story.
When I was the same age as them, I didn't want to be on the bus with them.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Even college. I was like, oh, what are we doing here? What is this? I'd rather walk.
School kids and like elderly people when they're on the bus at like 2:30, it's like oil and vinegar, or oil and water, whatever the saying is. They just
oil and vinegar is delicious. No, yeah, when they're mixing, no.
Yeah.
No.
All right, Frank, you can do the next one too.
Another stretch on this one. John's clearly giving me the ones he hates. So another stretch on this one. What do you think about the phrase "bust a move"?
Bust the move?
Yeah. Have you been known to do that? Because I've seen your social media.
Well, yes, I've actually been told I dance rather well for a portly sized man.
As a city bus driver, you have been taken to TikTok and doing some really great stuff both on and off the bus.
Yes.
Just a quick background, like what made you start doing that, like on the bus?
You're so good, and you're funny. Insane.
Yeah.
Remember Dub Smash? Like it was almost like, of course. I did a couple of things on that. The fact that I do it on the bus and but in uniform, it's surprising. No one's called like, you can't be doing this on the bus in your uniform and all this other stuff. But it's just me. I guess the fact that I haven't been on stage in a while, it's a way I get my performance fix, I guess, in a way. And it's just great that I can make people laugh and bring a little bit of joy from especially what everyone's going through now. But it seems like TikTok is just what everyone has been doing during this whole quarantine thing. But I think once, if you want to say, if everything goes back to the way it was, or what, I think it may die down a little bit, because I figure everyone's home, people have to pass time and all that other stuff. But it's just
maybe
it's I just do it just for the performance acumen, to put a smile on people's face, no matter if they think I'm insane or they actually like it.
But man, you're crazy. Like, you even make the videos, like sometimes with your wife, like the TikToks, where you guys did like the wear a pillow, like clothes.
Oh my God!
And And your wife's very attractive, and she was wearing a pillow wrapped around her body, and that was all she was wearing. And they're dancing next to each other, and then it cuts, and John is wearing that pillow that looked like a baby marshmallow on him, tied around his body, and he was naked. Yes. It was so funny.
Well, on TikTok, they had the thing called the Flip the Switch Challenge, which a lot of couples were doing, where you pause it, and then you change clothes, and then you start reshooting again, and then you're in different spots and wearing different clothes. And there was another thing where it was called the Pillow Challenge, where it was mostly women. They were wearing a pillow as a dress, and it was to a Beyonce song. I don't know which one it was, but it was to Beyonce. So she was figuring, okay, John is so much bigger than me. He's not going to fit into any of my clothes. So we figured, let's do the pillow thing. And so we incorporated the pillow with the Flip the Switch, and that's what that video was about.
John, I got to tell you, if someone said to me, quick, draw a bus driver, I'm going to draw you, and I think everyone else would draw you because you just look like you should do this job.
Yeah.
Like, I don't look like a bus driver at all.
Yeah, no. No, John, you're in the right place. That's the best part about it.
We have all different types of body types as a bus op. We have the very muscularly fit, and we have the morbidly obese.
John's like, we have the morbidly obese, we have the just obese.
Busting out of that plexiglass door.
Yeah.
Pushed up, sides pushed up against the door.
Is that the rule? You have to at least fit in the...
Listen,
I would think. I would hope so. You're going to be, what are you going to drive with your lower intestine? I mean,
listen, John, I know if I got on a bus and you were the driver and then you went over the thing and you were like, Staten, Italy, I would go, this is a bus driver. There he is. Mm-hmm. Stop the hiring.
Yeah.
We don't need any more. There he is. We got him. All right, what about Busta Rhymes? I'm going to throw that one in there.
Oh. Busta Rhymes.
Busta Bus.
Wow, a terrific lyricist. He did some of the rhymes that he does in his songs.
That's it. That's the one.
He's great. Definitely, I give him a 7.
Are you familiar with the dance move, the bus stop? That's another one.
I know the dance, the bus stop. There was when obviously my wife is 5 years younger than me, so I went to a lot of her girlfriend's sweet
nice
16s.
work, John.
Yes.
That's weird because you were 20.
I went to.
He was the DJ.
I went to a lot of sweet 16s.
He was the bus driver.
He drove the bus to the prom.
I drove the party bus. Yes.
Yeah. But you were saying.
No. So they did a variation of the bus stop, but there were so many different.
I don't think I can do it.
I don't even remember to say. I maybe know a step or two. I don't even know. But
my parents are going to be mad at me that I don't know it.
I definitely like the bus stop, so I'll give that 7.
There you go.
Cool.
All right, so I added something, so I'm going to go to my next assigned one. Okay. How about those folks who say that the bus drivers are the backbone of America, which I don't think is. I've never heard anybody say that.
I think. Well, actually,
I think my mom has.
Yeah. I mean, it's not untrue.
I think Filipino tilt-a-world operators are the backbone of America.
I agree. I've always thought that. I have always thought that.
Because they also put it together if it's a traveling show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they keep the world spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you rate that?
That was a good joke. That was a good joke, everybody. I hope you're laughing at it.
7 Metro cards.
There you go.
All right. How about this? This is when Regina George gets hit by a bus. Also, were you driving?
No, I was not driving when Regina George.
Is she okay, that actress? Did they actually have to hit her with the...
I don't even know.
Rachel McAdams?
Yeah, thank God it
we
wasn't
have
me.
one take.
Yes.
They're going to do a reunion special. Rachel McAdams and the bus.
One time Regina George got on my bus. It was awesome.
Very good.
There you go.
Yes.
How about people who pee on the bus?
Oh God! Well,
either in a Gatorade bottle or not in a Gatorade bottle.
I mean, hey, you got to go what you got to go. I mean, I wouldn't do it personally, but
it's a very liberal bus operator.
Very unsanitary.
Has it happened to you?
Say that again.
Has it happened to you?
No one has ever urinated on my bus while I was operating it.
That you know of.
Yes, correct. That I know of.
Where do you go to the bathroom? How does that work?
Well, at the end of the line, at each route, if God willing, if there's a bathroom. Now, obviously, I don't know if this came up, but some quite like, oh, what if you're driving in the middle of a route and you got to go? What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
We get on the bus, the phone that's in the bus. We call command center and we take what's called a personal. Then they'll say, oh, where are you? I'm at such and such a place. I'm taking a personal. Say, okay, just call us back when you're done. And I'll get off and I'll hang up the phone and I'll tell my passengers, I'm just going to go use the bathroom. I should only be, a couple minutes. I'm going to leave the door open if you want to step off. If there's another bus coming, and I go and do what I have to do. When I come back, I get back on the phone and we rock and roll. We're back in business.
So John, you don't have to say, hey, everybody, daddy gotta go do cocky.
You don't have to, but you do.
You don't have to, but you could, I guess.
I could. That would be great to say.
John, try it now. Try it now. Pretend you're on a bus.
No, don't make him say that on the radio.
John, use your professional voice like you're on the bus and say the
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Daddy gotta go make dookie.
Yes, there it is. I like the change up.
R.I.P.
I like it.
R.I.P. Howard Finkel.
Howard Finkel, right?
Yes.
Excellent work.
I have to say, if my bus driver got off, if I was going somewhere and he just stopped and was like, "I'll open the doors, feel free to step out for some air," I would literally be sitting there like, "What is happening right now?"
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just gonna have a smoke.
Yep. Oh, I remember. A lot more often than not. I don't know why. I always needed to get on at the last stop, and or I've been on the route and I've missed my stop and I need to sit there. And I've had many conversations with the bus driver where he's like, "Yeah, I mean, I got to rest here for a few minutes. I'm going
you
to use
sat
the
in what's
bathroom,
called
whatever."
the wrap seat.
He just lets you stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have to rest for a certain amount of time? What if you're just not? What if you're feeling rare and can you just go?
Are we still talking about the bathroom?
No.
Or
What's your schedule like? No. Like when you get to the end of a route, do you have to stay sitting there for a certain amount of time? Do they tell you?
They have
you can
on our schedule, like what like our paddle or time points, what you want to call it. They have the amount of time you're at the end of the line on that piece of paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to rest. You have to stop because it's the schedule.
Yes, it is the schedule. But obviously, if you're running late, you could take a personal at the end of the line if you have to use the bathroom, or you just need to catch and hopefully there'll be a dispatcher at the end of the line, and they'll just put you back on schedule. Hopefully.
Wow.
Cool. All right.
Next
Ready
one.
for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. John, let me ask you this: coach buses. A man like you can dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
Want
think
to drive a coach bus?
Well, the Prevost or the express buses that we have are the closest ones that we'll have. But I actually said this last one. I'm waiting. It'd be nice if they gave us those coach style buses with like a bathroom in the back or anything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could just see. Oh, wait, they're gonna raise the fare. We're paying $6.75 already for the express bus. What's it gonna be now? 10?
Yeah. All you're going to do is they're going to say, "Oh, they're paying extra for the homeless to use the bathrooms in the back of the bus." Sure.
Totally.
Yeah,
totally,
it would be nice if they had that. But coach buses, I like. That's a big thumbs up. I give it a 9.
It's like luxury, huh?
Yeah, they're very nice to drive. You got the nice seats. Hopefully, they're all well kept. Good air conditioning. You have Wi-Fi on the bus. Place to charge your phone.
Like
that's
a kingdom. It's a kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
For a guy like you, that's a kingdom.
You can watch a VHS tape on one screen at the front.
Oh, that really would be nice if they had like the VCR or DVD player like they had on these AC buses.
Oh yeah, you just pop in a little Dudley Moore movie, man, and you just go to town on it. Like,
yeah, a bus operator who retired actually told me if you want to prolong your career, try to pick on the Express. It's obviously it's a whole different ball game dealing with the Express.
Yeah. Nice.
What are the odds you'd say you'd retire from being a city bus driver and then become the personal bus driver for like a touring musician?
I don't know. I mean, Does
that happen?
There's a lot of guys who they'll drive like the little van school buses, maybe a couple days a week. Some guys will just, sit back and relax and enjoy their retirement, just, collect the check.
But you never heard like somebody at the water cooler be like, "Yo, John, I heard Barry's driving for fucking Aerosmith."
No.
No. Okay.
No, haven't heard that one yet.
All right.
Have you ever had a celebrity on your bus? My gut's going to say no.
No, I have not, but I had a guy on my bus who said he was Sebastian Maniscalco's like second cousin. That was
okay. So no is the answer.
Yeah, basically
that guy was likely telling the truth.
He could have been, and me and him were just going back and forth doing his stand-up lines or whatnot. So that was it.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. All right, so last one here. So buses make Frank nervous because he feels like it should not be his job to memorize the route or tell the bus driver when to stop said bus. Is that true, Frank?
Oh my God! When you got to push the tape. Excuse me. You just stop at every corner like you're supposed to do, and I'll see what I have to do. I have to try to hit it before you get there. I might as well drive the bus myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just let me sit there.
It's so much pressure.
It's
Does that
so much
tape really
pressure.
matter? Does that tape really matter?
I'm Frank Caiati. I'm commandeering your bus.
Yeah.
Because I can't do it your way. And I pop some anxiety pills and I sit down.
Why is your way the right way? Is it the only way? Well, why is MTA going your way?
Very true. Very true.
I have to tell you a story. I was hoping he was going to call in, but it doesn't look like he's going to. So Joe, who's frequently on our show, we've always had a story about Joe. Joe rides the bus a lot for various reasons, but he definitely is a frequent bus rider.
Oh, okay.
And he doesn't. Maybe now, I would imagine now as an adult he does. But you know what? He didn't call in, so I can say whatever I want about him. When we were in high school, I used to ride the bus with him, and I used to say,
He went to
Joe,
Zavarian, obviously.
Yes,
Okay.
he did go to Zavarian as well. And I said, Joe, where do you get off? And he said, the tire shop. And I said, well, what's the street? He was like, I don't know. I was like, what do you mean you don't know? And he used to say to me all the time, I have no idea. If they ever close that tire shop, I do not know where I'm going. And it's true.
Well,
it was so true.
Let me just ask you, was it the 64 that went to Zavarian when you were there? Or was it still the B1?
It was the B1. Still the B1.
Still the B1. Okay.
Yeah, it was like on the corner up there by like the Greek restaurant where you don't know what area you're in, and you're like halfway between.
I know
here and
exactly
Bay Ridge.
where you're talking
It
about.
might have been
by saying
that might have
Greek
been
restaurant.
that might have been 8th Avenue. Was it Spartan? Was it 69th
Yep.
and 8th
Yeah,
Avenue?
Spartan Souvlaki.
Yeah.
Yes, I
yeah.
actually ate there a few times. I love their gyros.
It's very
Cool.
good.
Shout out for Spartan
Very good.
Souvlaki. Thank
In
you.
the summer, they cook the pig right out front. They're roasted on the spit
On
So
the
good.
sidewalk.
Yeah,
Nice.
maybe not anymore. Yeah, the tire shop always, and we always joke about it. That he never, if he was riding the bus with his eyes closed and they were announcing every stop, he would not know which one to get off.
Yeah. If I had to guess, I think there's like one of those tire shops that look like a storefront on 11th Avenue and 69th Street. That might be it. I don't know. Don't hold me to
Could
it.
be
Could be.
right on the corner. It looks like a storefront.
Could be. Could be.
Yep.
John, when you pass another bus, do you guys wave every time?
I try to be, but some guys, they'll just keep their hands on the wheel and just will be like, they have tunnel vision. They'll just look straight ahead.
Oh.
What do you think about?
What do I think about?
You go in the same route. I mean, you have to be paying attention, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
But
You
don't
know,
ever catch yourself thinking?
like if I have something to do, like if I have to go somewhere, like, I hope, this is going to happen or that's going to happen. I hope I find, if I got to go to a certain place, I hope I could, get in there quick, find the spot, do what I got to do and get out. Am I going to have enough time to go get a haircut on my break?
Things like that. Just regular stuff.
Yeah,
But it's not clouding your mind while you're driving.
yeah, no.
Can you, snack while you're driving?
Some guys do. Like, they'll bring, like, a bag of chips, and they'll just have it
But
off to
there's
the
no
side.
rules. No rules on this. You can snack.
Well, I've driven with, one hand on the wheel, one hand with a cup of coffee. I'm sure that's frowned upon, but I've done it, and other drivers have done it.
Right. I have to say, it seems a little unfair that, well, I guess everybody's got to commute, right? But like, when you finish your day's work, you're like, another long day of work. I'm done. And you bring the bus back to the station, and you're like, all right, done for the day. And then you walk 15 feet and get back in another vehicle and have to drive where you're going.
Driving is my life. Literally, I drive to get to work, then I drive at work, and then have to drive. Driving is my life.
So you'd say you're a proficient driver.
Yes.
That's good.
Really?
It'd be really bad if your answer was different.
So why don't we ask John just a couple off the top of the head? I know we're almost done, but here's a couple of driving questions. John, tell us, can you make a K-turn over a double yellow?
I mean, if you have the room, I mean, you could make
Can you in a bus?
John, I'm kidding. I don't really care.
Oh,
I don't really give a
Frank.
shit if you can do that. It's fine.
What does a yield mean? You
does
actually
yield
have to. Why isn't it just a stop?
I don't know. That might be that might be a DOT type of issue.
we passed the yield, and Danielle said to me the other day, "That's a yield. You have to stop." And I was like, "No,
No,
if it's
no.
a stop, I have to stop."
No. You do have to.
I guess you have to
was
stop
at the yield.
and like slowly proceed. Like I don't.
Yes,
I
that's what it
guess.
is.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to
Stupid.
stop.
Get 'em off the
No,
street.
you are not supposed to stop at a yield. You're supposed to come to a rolling business.
Yeah.
Are you
Like
not?
like
It's not
yield.
a full stop, but he has to stop.
Yeah.
The yield
He
on the
just
short
straight ignored
entrance.
it.
It's the yield on the short entrance getting onto the belt, right by where your school is, Frank. Mm-hmm. There's the entrance right across from where your school is.
That's a very short entrance.
very short, and there's a yield there. And I just kind of went and whoop, got on the highway, and she was like, "No, you have to
Like
stop."
you have to
I was like,
assess
"No."
the situation.
Yeah. Yes.
If
Or
only there was a
forward plan, as we-
professional driver here to weigh in.
Forward plan.
Yes, you have to forward plan, which is what we were taught.
Why are there buses on the Belt Parkway?
Yeah, get them off.
I
Legal or
do that.
illegal?
I do that when, well, we actually have a highway permit. Obviously, they're allowed from this point to this point. I think we're allowed to go as far, as the exit by Flatbush, almost over there on the belt. But obviously, we borrow buses from this depot. This depot borrows a bus from this one. And you got to go a little bit farther. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to say anything. I mean, I go on the belt when I'm doing the B1. I'll hop on and I'll maybe for an exit or two and get off over there. It just sucks when, you're going 35 miles an hour and that's as fast as you can go on the friggin' belt.
Right,
But,
right. I know people who go 35 miles an hour on the belt. They're not in a bus. Did you have interest in driving? Did you have interest in cars before this?
Never. I don't know the first thing about. I'm not like Marissa Tomei and my cousin Vinny. I'm not a
You look just like her, so that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
a very ugly one. But no, I had no interest in cars. I just knew how to start them, stop them, and drive them. That's it.
But now you can identify when something's wrong with the bus, what it is.
I mean, if there's something wrong, obviously we have, someone there who knows a little bit more than I do. I mean, if there's a problem with a bus, we write it up, and we don't take it out. But, I'm not really car savvy or vehicle savvy is what you would call.
Yeah.
Who washes the buses?
We have a bus wash. When we pull it in, we have a bus wash.
Automated?
Yeah, well, we'll pull in, like we'll slowly approach, and then the machine will watch because there's like a camera and a sensor, and everything will go. There's brushes
Every day? So at the end of every shift, the bus gets washed?
most of the time.
Love it. You gotta keep it running.
And what about inside the bus? Who washes that?
We have guys that'll go in there with like mops and different brooms, and will do the floor and wipe down everything. Well, now with what's going on, buses are getting probably clean left and right now. I mean, I know you're probably like, so they weren't doing it
Before? No, yeah, but yeah.
But I think every night they try to clean them every so often. Obviously, if someone throws up or anything like that, we'll pull it in right away. They'll clean it, and it'll go back out for service.
Those guys are the backbone of America.
Yeah, we moved New York, as we like
That's
to
it.
say.
So I have to say, I want to wrap this up, put a nice little bow on it. I have to say, first of all, I need you to know that if the film Speed was a real thing, you'd be my favorite character for certain. If they ever remade Speed, you have to be the bus driver.
Yeah, I know. What maybe Keanu? Yeah, what does Keanu Reeves know about driving a bus? Really?
Come on now. Yeah. Let's hope you're never in that situation where you have to spend a certain amount of time under a certain speed, or else the bus will blow.
Yeah.
But these things happen.
Was that your final question on your licensing? Like, all right, if Speed was a real movie, and if you dropped under a certain speed, the whole thing blows up. What do you do?
How would you handle Dennis Hopper?
Yes, I'm like, and I'm reading the question as if Dennis Hopper is reading it to me.
Yeah,
absolutely,
of course.
Absolutely.
I don't even know. I might.
Right. You don't have to answer that.
That's fair. But John, I think I have to. We've joked around a lot in this episode. We've kind of thrown a lot of just needlepoint questions at you, just like here, like one after the other. But the bottom line is, you joked about it, but I mean, you guys do move New York. Like you said, trains and buses are the heartbeat of the city. I mean, people rely on you guys every day. You want to talk about frontline workers and essential workers, and not only are you an essential worker, but you also get those essential workers to the places they need to be. Right now, your job could not be more important.
Yeah.
I think in general, my assessment is I don't know, save for maybe, like, I don't want to start picking people out, but like the doctor or whoever we've had, I don't know if we've ever had a more important nobody on the show in 30 episodes than what you guys are doing. I mean, like you said, you keep this city going. And I think that cannot be overstated, people are on the bus all the time, but usually they're coming or going from work or something. And I think when you brighten somebody's day, it's the most important thing. And I think the most important thing that you can do as a public service worker is start every day on a fresh, start every day with a smile and see what the day brings you. Obviously, it's frustrating, but it seems like you do that. It seems like you prepare for the day to be a good one for both you and your customers.
Yes.
And I think that's so important. I think I'm really glad that you came through and we've been able to appreciate you and the people who work with you and the guys and girls that you work with every day, both on your routes and the buses and the trains as well. And like, it's so important. And I think it's fascinating. And I'm glad we got people to learn a little bit about the things that they take for granted that they see and they do every day.
I think John's right, and I just want to say, I don't want to take a bus ever in my life, but I'm grateful for what you do. Okay?
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So where can they find you? Where can people find you on social media, TikTok, if you want to advertise?
I believe my name, if I remember correct, you could find me at my last name, Salvio3. That's my name on TikTok. I'm not like one that posts a couple of videos a day, which I hear, there's a whole process to get followers and likes on TikTok. You got to post 3-4 times a day and original content and this, that.
No, you do it for you. You do it for you. What strikes you.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Well, that's great. John Salvio.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, guys.
In the words of Danielle, thank you.
You've been listening to the Nothing Podcast with Nobody Important, a cool side production, hosted by John Panepinto and Frank Caiati, with contributors Matt Hunt, Joe Hagopian, and Tom Zaccheo, and engineered by me, Danielle Rosefisher. Find us online at nothing-podcast.com, and be sure to rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever fine podcasts are distributed.